guys, this is Siri from Siri Tutor Blogs and welcome to my channel BA Artifact series. In our last blog, we have covered uh, dependency mapping and data mapping, and in this blog we'll cover process flow diagrams, which is very important for a technical business analyst or a normal business analyst. So, before we deep dive into the topic, I would like to request you all to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And let's get started. So, process flow diagram is a visual representation that shows how the business process flows from the start to finish, and it shows the sequence of activities and decision points, inputs, outputs, which are involved in delivering a business outcome. So, from a business analyst perspective, the purpose of the process flow diagram is to make it easy to understand how the process works from the business stakeholders to the technical team. So instead of writing um, a process in a big long paragraphs, I prefer using the process flow diagrams to show each and every step, the decision points, and what happens next. So I typically use two process flow diagrams. One is as is process flow, which shows the current state, and to be process flow, which shows the future state after enhancements are implemented. So, if we take an example of a fintech dispute transaction process, the process flow typically starts when the customer selects a transaction, and then the system is going to validate if the transaction is eligible enough for creating a dispute, and then uh, it's going to create a case ID and sends out a confirmation notification to the customer. So, as a business analyst, I start creating the process flow diagrams from the requirement gathering to validate my understanding with the stakeholders, and to identify any missing gaps or inefficiencies and highlight any improvements that can be added. So so uh, as a uh, as and when these validations are checked against the stakeholders, if we are correctly documenting the requirements, once we get a formal approval, these process flow diagrams becomes a foundation for us to create user stories, acceptancy criteria, sequence diagrams, swim lane diagrams, and test scenarios. So overall, this process flow diagrams is a very effective tool for the business analyst in 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 showing how how a complex business process can be simplified and structured in a simple view, where it can be aligned with the business stakeholders and technical team on common understanding of what needs to be built. So let's look into one of the process flow diagrams to understand how we can understand the control flow so that it will be easier. Diagrams are typically created using tools like Visio, Lucidcharts, and drawing.io. So I use BPMN often to represent the notation to have a consistency across the different diagrams. So if you look into this diagram, this is the use case diagrams. This is how it looks like, and process flow diagram is this is what the process flow diagrams. I think we have discussed multiple artifacts so far till now, right? Like I have already made blogs for process flow diagrams, class diagrams, sequence diagrams, uh, then gap analysis, BPMN diagrams. So each diagram represents like this, and they follow this kind of template. So it's very important to understand how the different diagrams look like, so that you will be confident enough in the interviews to answer any of the questions. So if you look into this process flow diagrams, this is what the task is, and decision always make happens in a diamond shaped step, where yes or no, it goes to different routes. It takes different routes based on the decisions. So this is the template, and then we have this another type of process flow diagram. Here there is a connector, and it's making a decision of whether it needs some more input, or sorry, I think it's not starting from here. It starts from here, terminator. It's going to give we are going to give some input or output into the terminator, and then based on the inputs the decisions are made. And then if decision is yes or something, it goes into this box, and then again it will go back to the terminator. If it is something which is not against this process box, it go back to this, and it will connect it connects to this connector. This is how it works. So let's look into another thing. So this is same process flow diagram. By the way, process flow diagram or functional flow diagram is one and the same. So it has the same kind of representations with the BPMN notations like this. See, if you have the process starts from the start button, and they enter the input username and password, and there is a validation. If it is the validation is successful, it logs in successful, and it goes back. If it is not, it is it takes another route called no, and then it will ask you for the re-enter the username or password, or do you want to register, something like that. Same thing here also. This is one of the process flow diagram. It starts with yeah, as a business analyst, what is the process you're going to follow? First, introduction, we define the stakeholder needs, and we review the needs. And we will, from those needs, we are going to create first FRDs, which are called requirement diagrams, and then we plan the business analysis approach, and then we create a business analysis approach here. And then the requirements elaborations and business approvals, and we create low level requirement documents, and supporting product developments, and verify the solution. And finally, the support is there. If there are any changes in the business, we are going to support that, and then we'll collect and review the feedback finally. So let's look into this process flow diagram very quick. So it starts from the start here, where we are going to enter the login password, and then it's going to make the decision if the login information is correct. If it is incorrect, it comes back here, and it will ask to reset your password, username and password. And for that, it's going to ask for the email. Is Then it's going to check if the email is present in the database or not. So if it is matches, it goes here. If it doesn't match, you have to re-enter the email again one more time, and then again the email match db record is present or not. Again, it's going to validate here. If it does not validate, it's going to ask us to register. It will proceed us to the registration process. It asks us to again sign up, create a new account. So if it is present in the database, then it will ask us to reset the password. Then once the confirmation is happens, it will again send back to this login screen, and you'll enter the correct username and password. Once you enter, it goes here, and you are going to view all the details, account details. And here you want to make some payment through a credit card. The payment, the pay which amount. There are three types of things: other amount, minimum payment due, and the balance payment. So if the payment is less than minimum due, it is going to show this notice, and it's going to say option to select different amount, and then it come back here, and it will give you an option to select these two. And once you select the payment amount, you are going to select the payment post date and review and submit and confirmation, and then it ends the transaction. So this is how it flows. This is another type of process flow diagram. uh, so it looks like this: onboard request. This is the data captured here, and due diligence. It's the validation. The legal part is done here. Ignores the legal documentation, and the customer account is set it up here, and the communication and interaction happens. The relationship management. So this is a part of process flow diagram which was cut short from another project. So the main difference between the sequence diagram and the functional flow diagram. Functional flow diagram and process flow diagram is one and the same. So sequence diagrams represents the system interactions, and functional flow diagram shows the business process. So this sequence diagram is more technical. It's for the technical team, and business process is for the functional. It's functional, and it is used by the business stakeholders. Here the audience are devs and architects. Here the audience are business stakeholders, as I told you. And here it shows all the API call messages steps, but here it only shows the decision making and the steps. um, this is the time based, and this is the process based. Okay. And the difference between other diagrams I can show you, as I show you previously, how the use case diagrams look and everything. We will look into one line definition of each and every artifacts as a consolidated list, so that we can have a better understanding of what each artifact does. So here, if you look into this one, use case, what the system does, process flow diagrams, the process steps, sequence diagrams, how the system interacts. Okay. So let's look into the one line definition of each and everything. Use case diagrams: who interacts with system, like who are the actors, who are the actors who are interacting, and what the system does. If when an actor interacts with the system, what is the reaction of the system, what the system does. And process flow diagram is the step by step business process, like the functional flow diagram. uh, the process flow diagram is the step by step process, as we know. And the functional flow diagram is also similar to the process flow diagram only, but it shows how the system behaves for that process. Okay, the functionality of that particular feature, the functionality, how it behaves for that process. And swimline diagram is, it tells you which team owns which API, and who is responsible for handling the critical failures. So which team is responsible for doing that, so who does what. So swimline diagrams will show you the team level responsibilities, and sequence diagram shows how the system interacts over the time. Uh, the actual interactions between one API, how which API depends on another API, and how they are interacted, and all these things. Derived sequence diagrams. The sequence diagrams here, it is created from the functional flow. And dependency mapping is which system depends on each other or other system in order to function correctly. Okay. And data mapping is how fields or data moves across the system. Okay. Where the data is going to go next, to which API call, to which application call, how the data moves between the fields, how they are mapped. All such things will be determined in the data mapping. So all these things are very important from the interview point of view, guys. I hope you like my video. Please, I request you all to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and take care. Thank you.